If I asked you what financial freedom looks like, most people would probably imagine a millionaire, a luxury house, a fancy car, a huge salary. But what if I told you that financial freedom has very little to do with how much money you earn? In fact, there are people earning six figures who are drowning in debt, stressed about bills, and living paycheck to paycheck. And there are people earning average incomes who are steadily building freedom, security, and wealth. The difference isn't always income. The difference is strategy. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can start creating financial freedom without a high income, even if you're starting from scratch. Let's get into it. Before we talk about how to achieve it, let's define what financial freedom actually means. Financial freedom doesn't mean never working again. It doesn't mean becoming a millionaire overnight. Financial freedom means having enough control over your money that you're no longer trapped by it. It means having choices. The choice to leave a job you hate. The choice to spend time with family. The choice to pursue opportunities without constantly worrying about your next paycheck. And the good news is that you don't need to be rich to start moving in that direction. Step 1. Stop focusing only on your salary. When people think about becoming financially free, the first thing they usually think is, I need to earn more money. And while earning more money can certainly help, it's not the complete answer. In fact, some of the highest earners in the world still struggle financially. They have bigger houses, nicer cars, and more expensive lifestyles. But they're also carrying bigger debts, larger expenses, and more financial pressure. That's because financial freedom isn't determined by how much money comes in. It's determined by how much money stays. Think about two people. The first person earns $30,000 a year. The second person earns $70,000 a year. Most people would assume the second person is closer to financial freedom. But what if the person earning $30,000 saves $300 every month, avoids unnecessary debt, and steadily builds their future? Meanwhile, the person earning more spends everything they make trying to maintain a lifestyle they can't really afford. Who is actually making progress? The answer is obvious. The person who keeps part of what they earn is moving forward. The person spending everything is standing still. This is why one of the biggest mindset shifts you can make is to stop asking, how much money do I make? And start asking, how much money do I keep? Because financial freedom is built from the gap between your income and your expenses. That gap is where opportunity lives. That gap is where savings grow. That gap is where future businesses are funded. That gap is where financial freedom begins. Now, this doesn't mean you need to live an extremely frugal life. You don't need to stop enjoying yourself. You don't need to cut out every coffee, every meal out, or every hobby you enjoy. The goal isn't to make life miserable. The goal is to be intentional. Many people spend money without even realizing it. Subscriptions they never use. Impulse purchases they forget about. Shopping to relieve stress. Upgrading things that don't need upgrading. These small decisions seem harmless in the moment, but over months and years, they can quietly steal thousands of pounds. And here's the reality. You can only save your way to a certain point. Eventually, you'll need to increase your income. But before you focus on making more money, you need to prove that you can manage the money you already have. Because if someone can't manage $2,000 per month, giving them $5,000 per month won't automatically solve the problem. The habits stay the same. The spending simply gets bigger. That's why financial freedom starts with mastering what you already have. Not because earning more isn't important, but because discipline comes before wealth. And when you learn to control your money, instead of letting your money control you, you're taking the first real step toward financial freedom. Step 2. Build a second source of income. One of the biggest obstacles to financial freedom is relying on a single source of income. For most people, that source is their job. And while there's nothing wrong with having a job, depending entirely on one paycheck can be risky. Think about it. If your employer stopped paying you tomorrow, how long could you comfortably cover your expenses? For many people, the answer is not very long. That's why building a second source of income can be so powerful. It creates options, it creates flexibility, and over time, it can reduce the pressure that comes from relying on one paycheck to fund your entire life. Now, when people hear multiple income streams, they often think they need to start a huge business or make thousands of pounds overnight. But that's not the goal. The goal is simply to start. It could be freelancing. It could be tutoring. It could be content creation. It could be a small service business. The amount doesn't matter at first. What matters is proving to yourself that you can earn money from more than one source. Because financial freedom isn't built by depending on a single stream. It's built by creating multiple pathways for money to flow into your life. And while your job can provide stability, a second income stream can provide opportunity. The sooner you start building one, the closer you move toward financial freedom. Step 3. Invest in skills that increase your value. One of the biggest mistakes people make is spending all of their extra money on things that lose value. A new phone, designer clothes, the latest gadgets. And while there's nothing wrong with enjoying your money, it's important to understand the difference between an expense and an investment. Some of the best investments you'll ever make won't be in stocks, property, or businesses. They'll be in yourself, because your skills determine your value in the marketplace. The more problems you can solve, the more opportunities you'll have to earn money. Think about skills like communication, sales, marketing, leadership, content creation, technology, or problem solving. These skills can help you earn more money, start a business, get promoted, attract clients, or create opportunities that wouldn't otherwise exist. For example, someone who learns marketing can help businesses attract customers. Someone who learns sales can generate revenue. Someone who learns content creation can build an audience online. And someone who learns a valuable trade can turn that skill into a business. The great thing about skills is that nobody can take them away from you. Unlike a car or a phone, they don't lose value over time. In fact, the more you use them, the more valuable they become. So, before upgrading your lifestyle, consider upgrading yourself. Read books, take courses, watch educational content, practice new skills. Because increasing your value is one of the fastest ways to increase your income. And when you increase your income while maintaining good financial habits, financial freedom becomes much more achievable. The more valuable you become, the more opportunities tend to come your way. Step 4. Build assets, not just income. Most people spend their entire lives chasing income. They work more hours, they take on extra shifts, they look for a higher paying job. And while earning more money is important, there's a problem. The moment you stop working, the income usually stops too. That's why financially successful people don't just focus on income. They focus on building assets. An asset is something that can continue creating value, opportunities, or income long after the work has been done. For example, a business is an asset. A YouTube channel is an asset. A website is an asset. A rental property is an asset. Even a valuable personal brand can become an asset. The key difference is that assets can continue working for you after you've already put in the effort. Think about a YouTube video. You might spend a few hours creating it today, but that same video could still be generating views, subscribers, and opportunities months or even years from now. That's the power of an asset. Now, building assets isn't easy. It takes time. It takes patience. And often, it takes a lot of work before you see results. But that's exactly why they're so valuable. Most people focus only on immediate income. Very few people are willing to build something that may take months or years to grow. The reality is that financial freedom becomes much easier when you own things that create value beyond your time. Instead of constantly asking, "How can I earn more money this month?" start asking, "What can I build today that will still benefit me years from now?" That simple shift in thinking can completely change your financial future. Because income pays your bills, but assets create freedom. Step 5. Play the long game. One of the biggest reasons people never achieve financial freedom is because they underestimate how long it takes. We live in a world that celebrates overnight success. Social media shows the highlights, the big wins, the luxury lifestyles, the success stories. But what we rarely see are the years of work that happened before anyone was paying attention. The reality is that most wealth is built slowly, not in weeks, not in months, but over years of consistent effort. Think about a tree. When you plant a seed, nothing happens immediately. For weeks, it looks like nothing is changing. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. And eventually, those roots become strong enough to support something much bigger. Building wealth works the same way. The first few months of saving may not feel exciting. The first few videos on YouTube may barely get any views. The first few clients in a business may be difficult to find. The first few skills you learn may not immediately increase your income, but every action is building roots. And those roots matter, because success is often invisible before it becomes visible. Most people quit during this stage. They don't see results quickly enough, so they stop. But financially successful people understand something different. They understand that small actions compound over time. A little money saved each month, a skill improved every day, a business worked on every week, a video uploaded consistently. These things might seem insignificant on their own, but over time, they create extraordinary results. That's why financial freedom isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You don't need to make £1 million this year. You just need to be in a better position next year than you are today. The people who win financially aren't always the smartest. They aren't always the most talented. Often, they're simply the people who stayed in a game long enough to see the results. So be patient, keep learning, keep building, keep improving, and remember, the goal isn't to get rich overnight. The goal is to build a life where money gives you more choices, more freedom, and more control over your future. Because financial freedom is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And the people who stay consistent are usually the ones who cross the finish line. The truth about financial freedom. Here's the truth. You don't need a huge salary to start building financial freedom. You need a plan, you need patience, and you need the discipline to keep going, even when progress feels slow. Start where you are. Use what you have. Learn valuable skills. Create additional income streams. Build assets, and focus on long-term growth. Because financial freedom isn't something that suddenly appears one day. It's something you build, one step at a time. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Financial freedom isn't reserved for high earners. It's available to people who are willing to think differently, act consistently, and play the long game. Start small, stay consistent, and keep making progress. If you found this video helpful, Subscribe to Wealth in Progress for more content on building wealth, creating financial freedom, and taking control of your financial future. Thanks for watching. Remember, wealth is built through progress. Keep progressing, progressors.